Aya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Krishnaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashanti Satarine Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langati Giri Yakripa Tamham Vande Shri Kurundi Natarine Hare Krishna. So today we'll see verse number 10 of chapter 5th, Karma Yoga Action in Krishna Consciousness. So let us chant the shloka. ब्रह्मण्याधाय कर्माणि
ब्रह्मण्यादाय कर्माणि
सङ्गं त्यक्त्वा करोति
सङ्गं त्यक्त्वा करोति यः
लिप्यते न स पापेन
लिप्यते न स पापेन
पद्मपत्रम् इवाम्बस
पद्मपत्रम् इवाम्बसा।
ब्रह्मण्याधाय कर्माणि
ब्रह्मण्यादाय कर्माणि
सङ्गं त्यक्त्वा करोति
सङ्गं त्यक्त्वा करोति यः
लिप्यते न स पापेन
लिप्यते न स पापेन
पद्मपत्रमिवाम्बसा.
पद्मपत्रम् इवाम्बसा।
Please chant.
ब्रह्मण्यत्या कर्माणि सङ्गं त्यक्त्वा करोति यः लिप्यते न स पापेन पद्मपत्रम् इवाम्बसा।
ब्रह्मण्यदाय कर्माणि सङ्गं त्यक्त्वा करोति यः लिप्यते न स पापेन पद्मपत्रम् इवाम्बसा।
ब्रह्मण्य अध्याय कर्माणि सङ्गं त्यक्त्वा करोति यः लिप्यते न स पापेन पद्मपत्रम् इवाम्बसा.
Okay, thank you very much. So, translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. One who performs his duty without attachment, surrendering the results unto Supreme Lord, is unaffected by sinful action as the lotus leaf is untouched by water. Purport. Here Brahmani refers to means in Krishna consciousness. The material world is sum total of manifestation of three modes of material nature, technically called the Pradhan. The Vedic hymns Sarvam Hi Etat Brahma Mukunda Upanishad 2. Tasmad Etat Brahma Nama Rupam Anam Chajayate Mukunda Upanishad 1.1.9, and in the Bhagavad Gita Mama Yonir Mahad Brahma indicate that everything in this material world is manifestation of Brahman. And although the effects are differently manifested, they are not different from the cause. In the Ishopanishad, it is said that everything is related to Supreme Brahman or Krishna, and thus everything belongs to him only. One who knows perfectly well that everything belongs to Krishna and that he is the proprietor of everything, and that therefore everything is engaged in the service of the Lord, naturally has nothing to do with the results of his activities, whether virtuous or sinful. Even one's material body, being a gift of Lord for carrying out particular type of action, can be engaged in Krishna consciousness. It is then beyond contamination by sinful reaction, exactly as the lotus leaf, though remaining in the water, is not wet. The Lord also says in Bhagavad Gita, Mai Sarvani Karmani Sanyasya 3.3. Resign all work unto me, Krishna. The conclusion is that person without Krishna consciousness act according to concept of material body and senses, but a person in Krishna consciousness act according to knowledge that body is the property of Krishna and should therefore be engaged in the service of Krishna. So, explaining the properties or qualities of a person who is acting in karma yoga or acting in the devotional service. So, he's taking the conversation to more depth. So, Krishna explained that a person who is in divine consciousness or in connection with the divine consciousness is equal to everyone. Everyone is equal to everyone means he knows everyone's identity as compared to his identity, and so everyone is dear to him, and he is dear to everyone. And then last yesterday shloka we saw this person, this devotee or muni, as Krishna calls him muni. So he knows that all the activities done by this material body are also is nothing but engagement of these senses into their objects, and he is aloof from all these activities which are going on. So, so here the example is given of Padma Patram Ivambasa. So Padma Patram, it's a lotus leaf. So if everybody has seen the lotus leaf, how it grows, how the lotus grows, and how the lotus leaf is, the surface of the upper surface of the leaf is smooth, so smooth that the water, even if you pour any quantity of any amount of water on the leaf, nothing stands. It just slips out of from the leaf, and the leaf is again the same without any water. Sometimes you can balance the water on the leaf, avoiding to fall down, but still the leaf does not get wet. So the lotus is actually in the pond or in the water, but the leaf itself, if it's above the water, it's dry. The water does not remain. So this is the property of a person who works in divine consciousness. How he works? Sangam tyatva karoti. Karmani sangam tyatva karoti. So how he does the karma? He's not attached to the results. Brahman Brahmanyadhaya. So he's not attached to the karma, and what he does with the results of the karma, he offers is to Brahmani. Here Srila Prabhupada mentions into Supreme Personality of Godhead. And Baldev Vidyabhushan or Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur also mentions that because the last shloka that this Muni knows that all the activities are done by the material senses, and the results of that is also in this material world. A person in divine consciousness knows that all this is happening at the material level or pradhan level. So which is the interaction of the three modes. And so yesterday we were discussing how we can also observe our actions in different modes. What we do in the morning, what we do in the afternoon, evening, and what we do in the night. It changes, but the observer of all these actions still remains the same, and we can observe our mood, how it changes with the day, what we want to do in the morning, afternoon, evening, and night. We can observe this every day, and then we can see how the modes are operating, because in one day also the modes are different: mode of goodness, then passion, and then ignorance during the night. Then again goodness comes. So according to the modes, our mood also changes. Uh, so to remain in mode of goodness during the evening time, we have to do some endeavors, like we have to chant, we have to go to temple, or we have to read Bhagavad Gita. Then the mode of ignorance is counteracted by this goodness activity. That's why in India we see most of the families, there is a tradition to go to the temple in the evening time and the morning time. So evening time when you go to temple to just to see the Lord, the mood changes. The ignorance that is prevailing, you come out of that ignorance into goodness and passion. So that helps to be at higher consciousness. So the activities that we do with the higher consciousness are are different. So here, Srila Prabhupada mentions that it's everything is belongs to Pradhan. So all the activities are going into Pradhan. So, but the spirit soul is totally different from this Pradhan, right? So he knows because this Muni knows in the previous shloka that his identity and identity of others in connection with Krishna. He knows that. So such devotee, such person always remembers that even if you do this karma, any karma that I do in this world, the result is going to be here only in this world, and it's nothing related to me. Mm. So whatever happens, I am not supposed to get engaged in that. So with this proper intelligence and knowledge, controlled intelligence, he gets detached from the results of his activities, and he offers those results to Brahmanadaya, the Supreme Lord, the Brahman. And then what happened? Lipyate nasapape. So he gets free from all the pap. He is not affected by the pap. So Shri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur also explains in his commentary that here by sinful action, unaffected by sinful actions. So it's also when we get detached from the results of the activities, we also get detached from the not only from the sinful action but also the good results. Mm. Because the good results are also binding, right? So if you do good karma, okay, if you do charity, if you help someone, then the results of that is a pious act. Because this is a pious activity, there will be a good result of this. And when there is a good result, uh, that is also binding. That is also binding to us, because good pious activity you have to get the good results. But if you know your real identity, then you don't want to get bound by the good or bad results, right? So papena means both, because from a perspective of this material world or Brahmani, uh, it's because the good or the bad, punya or pap, because it engages us in this material world, both are termed as pap. Okay. So we think that good reaction coming is better for us, or pious activity is better for us. But in a way, at a higher level of consciousness, we understand that that also binds us to this material engagements. Right? So if you give some donation, somebody praises you, you feel good. So when you feel good, you want that more. So you get engaged more, right? So even if somebody praises you or somebody highlights you, you should be detached from it. So when you get detached from it, then you become like a Padma Patra. So you will not get affected by anything that is happening because of your actions or actions around you. So this is very higher state of understanding. But if we all can imagine that if we can remain in such type of consciousness, then it will be a very different world, right? Everybody getting detached. Even if we get detached, we can also feel, means in one day, there was in one of the class, there was one exercise that at least in a day for 1 hour or 2 hour, you don't speak anything that is not related to God. And you don't do anything that is not related to God. Or even if anything you do, just always remember why you are doing this. By practicing this, you automatically come to the higher level of consciousness. So here Krishna is explaining that Arjuna, you do your fighting, and offer all the fighting results of good or bad. You win or lose, does not matter. Offer it to the Supreme Lord, and then you are not affected by this material world. So though you live in this material world, you are not living in this material world. That's very higher state of consciousness, and also higher state of living in this world, where you are doing everything but you are not affected by anything. It's a wonderful state. So Krishna is telling Arjuna that this is how the devotees or Muni have acted. So you also understand this, how you have to do the fighting also. And Krishna will give more examples how these yogis, karma yogis, they act. So then the question will come, if you are not attached to the results, you don't want good or bad results, nothing you want, then why you should act? Because Krishna is promoting karma yoga, you do your activity, but I don't want anything from the activity. Then why should I should act? That question will automatically come. Right? There is no need for me to act because I don't want anything. So Krishna will answer this question in the next few shlokas. Why you act? Right. So that we will see in the tomorrow shloka. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Any comments? Any more points? Anybody want to add?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhu, like it says, duty without attachment, surrendering the results unto the Supreme Lord.
Mhm.
My experience, when I went, I was traveling to the Middle East, I've seen like there's so many mosques.
Mhm.
And even my spiritual master said the same thing. He said, people there give 50% of their monthly income
Right.
so that they have a mosque. But when we as Vaishnavas, we give the least amount of money. Our priority is to have a house, a car,
Mhm.
all the social status, and then we think about giving to the temple.
Mhm.
So how can we, do have a duty without attachment? If we have that mentality, how can we be an example so that we can build this thing in ourselves first?
Yeah, very nice point. So there is one recently there was Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur's appearance day, right, last week, a couple of weeks back. There is one photo of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur sitting in a car. If you have seen that photo, right, in that the comment that is written below the that particular photo is Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur established this Yukta Vairagya process, right? So he also practiced it. So okay, in the Middle East, people give maximum possible, and Vaishnavas, like Srila Prabhupada mentions, um, this technological development or the transports or everything that is developed by this scientist or everything, in many people, they are developing so many things. Um, so you too, we as a preacher or as a compassionate devotee, we want to preach this movement more and more. We want to give Krishna more and more people, to more and more people. So see when so that's why we need to have this facility. So if you want to travel, you need Lakshmi, right, to travel or to help others also. So as a Vaishnav, of course, we all give some part of our income always to temple or some activity that is done by through the Vaishnavas. So I think we all do that. So though we don't do 50%, we do whatever possible. But the rest of the money that okay, if I say 50% of my income, okay, so I give a fixed amount to particular cause. Okay, I give it to temple. Okay, I give 10% to temple, for example. So what I do with the rest of the money, how I use that money. That if I don't use it for my enjoyment, but I use for okay, keeping my house and doing some house programs, okay, or going to meet the devotees, or making prasadam, calling the devotees, or I make prasadam and I go to devotees' house, or I make prasadam and I go to my friend's house. I call them. So all these activities, if we do with our other income, right, remaining income, then we are actually participating in this devotional service, like what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has told, Sankirtan movement. So all these activities also come into the Sankirtan moment, right? So I may use most of the part of my income indirectly in all these activities, right? So if we have to calculate, just calculate this total amount, then it may be more than 50%. You can practice from your own example that it may come around 50% or maybe sometimes more than that. Some months it is more than that because you are just with Vaishnavas and then do so many things without caring for money, right? So uh, see, giving up fixed amount 50% and then with the rest of the 50% what you do is also very important, right? But as a Vaishnav, we have we are always ready to use 100% of our income plus 100% of our time plus 100% of our body, mind and senses in the service of Krishna if we get the opportunity and if we get the situation. We are ready to do that, and we have seen so many devotees do that. So just so this way actually we are engaging more. That's what I feel. Okay, this just giving 50% is a good thing. Of course, it is a good thing. It's a pious thing. That is very helpful. It's very good. But being ready to give 100% at any certain point of time, if it is needed, along with your body, it's much more higher consciousness. That's what I feel. How you think, Prabhu?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Prabhu, very good point. But also, I wanted to bring the point. Like when we hear about like, correct me if I'm wrong.
Mhm.
Like Sanatana Goswami, Raghunath. They were big. Uh, uh,
Good positions.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, Prabhu. Go ahead.
Yeah, so they were big like governors at the Nawab, right?
Mhm.
And
Yeah,
they were giving more than 50% of their salary,
yeah.
for the for spreading Krishna consciousness, right?
Mhm.
So my point then also comes, they were also doing so many things and giving 50%, but
Mhm.
you know I can take my example. I like to travel, I like to do that. And then when it comes to temple, I like to give a donation, but then I'll think, I can give this much amount. I want to be honest, not,
Yeah, yeah.
but that's what I feel.
Mhm.
So please enlighten, like when we hear about this Vaishnavas doing all that. So you brought a really great point that we do 100%, but there's some Vaishnavas that were doing it, right?
Yeah.
So 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 we cannot imitate it. So is it like we cannot imitate like great Vaishnavas, or we are like neophyte, or we're all I could with neophyte stage, and then we cannot think that their way? Is that the thing? Or like you said before, we are doing everything. It's like we go, like Sunday there's a like a cleaning program. Everyone wants to get engaged, like we have a WhatsApp group for it. So can we consider ourselves like we are still 100% dedicating ourselves, or we are still practicing to do that? Hare Krishna. Please forgive if I my
No,
question is.
it's correct point. So see, Sanatan Goswami, Rupa Goswami, they give 50% when they quit everything, right? And they just surrendered everything. That may be our goal, right? We want to be like that, right? So now as a sadhaka, we are trying to reach that level of surrender. So we cannot be immediately, okay, I straight away give 50%. We may not be in a, say, if I have a family, I have to maintain my family. I have to keep certain things. I have to maintain my parents. So there are some needs that I have to do. But at certain point of time of my life, it may be the situation may permit me to surrender that much. That time I should be ready to do that. That is our goal, right? So to reach the goal, I think it may take some time, but at least we are trying to progress towards that. That we should be able to do this level of surrender, when I'm ready to do in visible way, I'm ready to donate or I'm ready to give. So of course that goal we can keep, right? And
Yes, Prabhu.
one very interesting example I remembered. See, there was it's about donations also, right? Sometimes a person donates, say, 1,000 yen. Okay, another person donates 10,000 yen. So what you will see, amount, right? How much amount is donated. But in the lecture I have heard that the person who is donating 1,000 yen, okay, he may be donating 1,000 yen whatever he has,
Mm.
right? And the 10,000 person may be donating a lot of things, but he's donating 10,000. So Maharaj told that the person who has donated 1,000 yen has much more surrender because he's donating everything.
Yes.
Krishna, right? So it also
Mhm.
depends how much you are dedicating.
How much you're dedicating.
So more important is, so sorry, more important is not how much you dedicate, how much you keep for yourself.
Mhm.
That was
It reminds me of the story, in Prabhupada Lilamrit, there's a story of Jananda Prabhu.
right. So
He gave all his money to Srila Prabhupada. He had
yeah,
$5,000.
yeah. So he gave everything. So Srila Prabhupada said, this is the greatest donation, right?
Yes.
So the example is, it's not how much you donate, how much you keep. Based on that, your consciousness will be judged, right?
Yes, Prabhu.
So I think that's very important point also.
Thank you very much, Prabhu. Please accept my humble obeisance.
Thank you very much for bringing up this point. Yeah, so whatever we keep for ourselves, if we are not attached to that, that is much higher consciousness, I feel. Okay, thank you very much. So we'll see why we should act if we are not attached to anything. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Thank you so
Hare
much.
Krishna. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, thank you.
Okay.
Hare Krishna, thank